Hey guys, Pulkit this side from Gadget Generations. In today's video, I'm going to talk about AFUL's latest flagship pair of in-ear monitors, the AFUL DawnX. It's a flagship priced at 1300 USD into the international market, available via Hi-Fi Go. Into the Indian market, you can purchase it via all the three retailers that have it, priced at 1,20,000 somewhere like that. The pair houses 1DD+8BA drivers, 4EST drivers, and 1BCD driver. A few friends tried the DawnX prototype that was showcased during the Canyon Singapore, and they praised it really well to me. And back then itself, I pre-ordered my unit with Hi-Fi Go. They offered me a decent discount in return for this review. I would like to thank them for that. If you guys would like to purchase, I will add the appropriate links into the description section below. You guys can go and check it out. When the pair was coming out, there were a few promotional information shared by AFUL itself, like they always do. If you guys are following my channel, you guys know that I have tried every single one of the AFUL product released so far, whether it be their debutant Performer 5, Performer 8, or the previous flagship, the all-BA flagship Cantor itself. They develop different kinds of patented technologies which help them achieve the sound that they are targeting with the pair. For this one, the primary point that got my attention was that most of the IEMs into the market today, which have an EST implementation, usually do the EST into the ultra high frequencies above the 8 to 10K region. Well, they tried something new. They tried to place those ESTs from the lower treble region, that is the 5 kilohertz mark. So I was really excited to try out what changes that brings to the table with the DawnX, and I will be discussing everything with you guys today in today's video. So make sure you guys stay with me till the very end. Let's begin with the design and build quality of the pair itself. About the design and build quality, the pair looks absolutely charming to me. It has wooden faceplates with a red tint to them, so each unit will have a different texture, and it looks quite good in my opinion. Why only good? Because the red color, well, if the entire shell was made up of it, it would have been low. It would look spectacular. But with the black contrasting inner shell and the red contrasting texture onto the faceplates, it looks quite decent to me. I won't call them to be spectacular looking, but it does the job in my opinion. Despite having 14 drivers per side, the shells are quite small. They're not hefty, but they are onto the thicker side, and in my opinion that helps in achieving a snug fit. And you guys know with IEMs that have a BCD implementation, a snug fit is a must to get the best out of it. Similarly, the stock cable, it is quite nice. It is a bit hefty, it has a bit of weight to itself, but it doesn't drag the pair down from my ears, so I do not find any kind of issues. Moreover, previously AFUL IEMs, they always had a one side connector to be too much tight, and it would always be difficult to pull them out. That is not the case with my unit of DawnX. It is quite easy to pull out, and it doesn't give a lot of friction in or hardness in terms of tightness in terms of pulling the pins out. About the fit and isolation, like I mentioned, for any IEM with a BCD implementation, you need to get a proper fit, a snug fit, so that each part of the shell touches your ear and you can actually feel the BCD implementation to its best potential. For me, despite being thick, the pair sits quite snugly into my ears. I do not have any kind of issues at all in terms of wearing a good wearing comfort. Since the shells are entirely made up of resin material and just the face covers are wooden, so they are quite light in weight, and they literally disappear into my ears whenever I wear them. Isolation is also quite nice. I do not hear any of the outside noise, and get properly isolated from my surroundings whenever I am wearing the AFUL DawnX. Even when the music is not playing, they are quite isolating. AFUL also bundles a bunch of ear tips, and they should, because the shell's nozzle is a bit thick, so you might get a bit of difficulty in terms of fitting normal ear tips, but not a lot of difficulty, because I've tested these with Altec ear tips as well, and these provider, they fit on the pair quite easily. Now about the drivability for the AFUL DawnX. DawnX gets loud quite easily. You can get. Oh, I just forgot to mention that I forgot to talk about the cable into the last section. I mean, I talked about the ergonomics of it, but one of the primary con that I found Well, in today's day, even the budget IEMs are coming with, by budget I mean 100, $150 IEMs are coming with replaceable plug, termination plugs with their, IEMs, with the cables, by the way. But the full DawnX comes with a fixed terminated cable. Like you get to choose between 3.5 or 4.4 termination, whichever you prefer. I preferred the 4.4 so I got it. But in my opinion, in today's market, when budget IEMs are also coming with cables that have swivel termination plug, Aful could have done that as well. Now on to the drivability part. The pair, well, it gets loud quite easily. You won't feel any kind of, need to get it loud enough. But when it comes to drivability, a full DawnX scales, and it scales quite nicely. Like I was when I got the pair, I initially put it up onto my Shanling UP6, which is a Bluetooth portable deck app, and I was like, okay, it sounds good, but nothing spectacular in my during my first listen. But then I switched it, and I switched it to my Shanling M7T, which has close to 900 milliwatts of output power, I guess, from the balanced output. And as soon as I was raising the volume, the pair was, getting better drivability. It was getting better dynamics. The bass was getting cleaner texture, tighter control, and the treble was also getting better in terms of definition as well as detail retrieval. So, in my opinion, the pair scales quite nicely. And then further, I tested it across different setups. Like I tried out my friend's E70 Velvet plus A70 Pro topping desktop stack, and the pair was again showing great characteristics, great dynamics. And then at my home, I absolutely loved it with the Shanling M7T. Today morning itself, when I was making these notes, I received the Venture Electronics stack as well, which includes the Prime deck and Runabout amplifier as well as the Verp something PSU fit. I tested it with Shanling M70's 4.4 line out to the Runabout amplifier, and not to my surprise, the pair scaled quite well onto that stack as well. So, in my opinion, you need to treat the DawnX well. You need to provide it with a clean and powerful source. You need to have a high quality DAC, and you need to have a high quality DAC to enjoy the full DawnX to its fullest potential. During my testing, I would suggest use it with something like a mid-tier DAP like the M70 that I have, or something like the V Stack itself, or something onto desktop. You can use something decently powerful DAC amp, and you are good to go. But always treat the DawnX well, and it will reward you with its impressive sonic excellence. Now on to the next section, where I will talk about the sound quality impressions of the full DawnX from my side. Well, for the past 15 to 20 days, a full DawnX has been my daily driver. It is into my everyday carry pack. I'm using it on a daily basis, whether I'm at my home, whether I'm at my office, and whenever I'm listening to music, the DawnX has been there as my core companion. And why not? It nails the perfect balance between the three frequencies with a slight bit of boost into the bass region. I would directly begin describing different frequency segments because I just can't stop myself from explaining how beautiful this pair sounds. Obviously, you need to drive it properly to get the best out of it. Starting with the bass region, the lower end region, the pair packs a punch. It punches you into the gut, and it punches you straight through your face with its very dynamic mid bass response. It is textured, it is tightly controlled, and it has hits you like a truck. I was listening to this track Kana Yari by in Coke Studio season 14. The tracks get you grooving. It got me tap my feet onto when I was listening to it onto the Donuts because the bass was quick, it was punchy, it was keeping up with the fast pace of that track, and it was producing every beat with great detail and punch. Sub bass extension is quite good onto the Donex. It produces a rumbling, a thunderous sensation. I was for that part particularly. I tested two tracks onto this while making these notes. First one was the Mehram, again from Coke Studio season 14. It is one of my favorite tracks from the season, and it the Donex reproduces the essence out of it because it produces a strong, rumbling, sensational, thunderous background, which just creates the immersion that I always loved for the with that track. Next, The Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. You guys must have noticed that I always it is one of my key test tracks for testing out the sub bass. and the DawnX nails onto it by producing a strong and rumbling sensation. Onto the mid-range section, the mid-range is quite accurate. Upper mids are slightly forwarded, bringing those vocals right in front of you. They are not too into the face to get overwhelming, but they are placed and positioned quite nicely to create you to provide you with an immersive listening experience. Lower mids packs good details, good crispness for instruments like acoustic guitars, piano, flutes, violins, everything. Into the mid-range section, we get good level of detail retrieval for instruments. Apart from it, the tonality for both instruments as well as vocals is to the point. They sound damn natural to me. Both male and female vocals, they sound damn natural. You won't be able to call them overly warm or overly lean. They have the enough heft to sound natural. It's like listening to them in a live manner, in a live arrangement. And the DawnX reproduces everything for you in such a clean and presentable manner, like with such a dynamic and powerful bass response. I would have expected that we must get slight warmth to the mid-range section, but the DawnX retains great resolution and great tonality, presenting you with the natural and accurate mid-range response. Now onto the treble part. While beginning today's video, I mentioned you that during the promotional information sharing by Full, they mentioned that they have done something new and something innovative by implementing those ESTs from the 5 kilohertz region, and it is quite evident into the sound output as well, because the sound is quite crisp, defined, and detailed into the treble section. Starting from the lower treble to the ultra high frequencies, you can actually hear that the pair sounds very detailed and informative. Like the micro details and micro dynamics are quite neatly reproduced with great resolution and great clarity. On top of it, you won't hear any kind of sharpness or harshness, or any kind of sibilance. Even at louder listening volumes, I do not notice the pair to lose its control. It was always tightly maintained, and its composer and delivered a really respectable sound response. The treble region shows great extensions and great quality. In my opinion, it is one of the finest sounding treble response around the price point of AFUL. Uh, Basically, I also purchased the Monarch Mk4 as well, and I was not too satisfied with it, so I kept the DawnX and sold off the Monarch Mk4. I will be sharing a brief comparison right after I explain the sound quality of the DawnX itself in today's video. So yeah, so travel is very neatly executed. It shows great extension, it shows great quality, it retrieves micro details with great precision. Like I was listening to Wonder Woman theme by Tina Go, and those violins, those fast paced transients were handled quite well by the full DawnX, and they were not merging in between, they were presenting with a great accuracy and great detail. Treble and bass are probably one of my favorite aspects of the full DawnX. First of all, the texture into the lower end, and then this clean, smooth, effortless treble response is what my heart craves for, and what the DawnX delivers as well. Now on the technical performance of the pair. Layering imaging and precision for instruments is quite well done. Even for busy tracks like Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queens, or Master of Puppets by Metallica, the pair handles quite well. It delivers sheer resolution, great clarity, and different instruments can be pinpointed onto the space quite well and quite easily. So it does a great job in all of that. About the sound stage now, the pair has a forwarded response for the upper mid section, so vocals are slightly onto the front side. However, I would say that the soundstage is quite nice. It expands in all direction. The overall feel of the full DawnX is quite immersive. I wouldn't call it intimate, but the overall experience is quite immersive and engaging. Even for busy tracks, there is no congestion, but the soundscape, the sound image is produced right in front of you, so it creates a sense of intimacy and a sense of immersiveness with the pair itself. Now on to the next section, where I will compare it with the Monarch Mk4. Before I received the shipment of DawnX, actually it was in transit. I purchased a unit of Monarch Mk4 from the Indian retailer Concept Kart as well. But after using it for a few days, I sold it because I found the DawnX to be better performing to my ears and to my music genres as well. So how does these two compare in my opinion? Well, Monarch Mark 4, it's also an excellent sounding pair of in-ear monitors. Packs a really punchy sound response with a slightly recessed mid-range. But the bass dynamics and the treble detailing onto the Monarch Mark 4 are also quite good. But how do these two compare? Well, for starters, Monarch Mark 4 has better build quality, completely metallic shells, and then that eye-catchy design onto the face cover with that glows into different colors depending upon the light angle that is falling upon to them is quite easily a better looking set to me. However, the shell are big and might cause issues for people with smaller ears. That is not the case with the DawnX because the shells are just thick, so they will just protrude out of your ears but won't provide you with any kind of issues in terms of wearing comfort. Next, about the sound quality. The bass region, I would say that while Monarch Mark 4 does a great job in producing a very refined lower end response, I would say that the quantity and the quality of bass response on the Dawn X is simply amazing, and I found it to be better for my taste. It has a punchier response, it has better texture, like the drum kicks feel livelier to me on the Dawn X while compared to the Monarch Mark 4. Next, the sub bass rumble. Well, Monarch Mark 4 does a great job again, but Donex provides a tad bit better response with a more rumbling and more sensational response. So for me, Donex wins hands down into the bass region. The mid-range section, there's the main differences between the mid-range section for these two because the Donex has a more forwarded upper mid section. The vocals are more forwarded compared to what we have onto the Monarch Mark 4. They have a slightly recessed response. They are not exactly V-shaped sounding set, but they have a slightly recessed response compared to what we have onto the Donex. So vocals are more connecting onto the Donex for me, while they sound really good onto the Monarch Mark 4 as well. Now to the treble section. I would say that the treble section on both the pairs sound really sweet and really detailed, but I found it to be tad bit more crispier and a tad bit more energetic onto the Donex for me. Now onto the technical performance, I would say they are really good performers in terms of layering and imaging, but when it comes to soundstage, the Donex has a more immersive and slightly intimacy, slightly more engaging sound profile with the slightly intimacy present with a forwarded soundscape, while the Monarch Mark 4 has a more relaxed presentation, so it feels more big. But in my opinion, if you want more engagement, Donex is a better engaging one, and that's why this is all why I kept the Donex with me and sold off the Monarch Mark 4 from my collection. Well, that's all about the AFUL DawnX from my side. I absolutely adored my time with it, and I'm absolutely going to love it for the days to come as well. The pair sounds spectacular in all ways possible, and I simply love it for the bass and for the treble detailing and the overall three frequency balance and the engagement factor that this pair produces. However, like I mentioned previously as well, you need to give it with a powerful source to get the best out of the full DawnX. If you have it, then you can blindly go for the DawnX. It would not disappoint you, in my opinion. Well, that's about everything about the full DawnX. I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. Don't forget to leave me a like. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. I am regularly creating more hi-fi audio related content for you guys. And if you guys have any questions related to the full DawnX, you can ask me in the comment section below. Well, this is your friend Pulkit from Gadget Generations. Thank you so much.